Right then. Die! Die! No! The barriers!
All right, so as you've hopefully seen, even in this little small snippet of combat, the combat in Reckoning is very fast. It's very dynamic. It has the look and feel of an action game. Everything is very, very kinetic as you fly throughout the space. You see these pauses in animation where Joe's momentarily slowed down in the air. All these various things in animation that really sell the weight and power of combat, sort of the drama of the whole thing. But in the end of the day, we don't want to give the wrong impression. The game is an RPG, not an action game. So we're not asking you to memorize button combos. You know, if you watch Joe's hand on the controller, he's not hitting XXYYB to pull something off. Mostly X.
Mostly X.
There was some Y.
Actually, mostly X.
You didn't really use that?
I did not use daggers at all. I should have.
Ah, very sad. That would be it, yep.
I'll do it next time.
Fair enough. So yeah, so it's easy to perform, and it's very, well, it's an RPG. It's all about what equipment you've purchased, what abilities you've unlocked, what destiny you've chosen to equip. Everything about your moment-to-moment combat is driven by your RPG decisions, and then the awesomeness of combat is where the action game impulse comes in. So now, watch out. So if you played an RPG before, you know that there's more dangers in a dungeon than just enemies. Sometimes you'll find traps. Like that one. So fortunately, we have ways to deal with this. As I mentioned earlier, there's a number of non-combat skills in Reckoning. One of those, Detect Hidden, will help you deal with things like traps. If you look at the mini-map in the top right, you'll see little orange dots. That's because we've invested enough in Detect Hidden to see where those traps are to help us avoid them. Now with more points in Detect Hidden, which is how many we have here, we can also disarm those traps, and not only that, we can actually salvage them for the components used to build them. Now this is handy because this feeds back into the different crafting systems in the game. Like here, for instance, this is a fire trap. If we'd stepped on this thing, it would have blown up and set us on fire. Now, conveniently, we're able to disarm it using Detect Hidden and get this cloudy fire shard from it. We could then use that in the Sagecraft system to make a fire gem and socket that into our sword to make a flaming sword.
Oh,
lots of fire. You could actually make a, I think, a pristine gem with that. Uh-oh.
I failed at that one.
Sadness. That's okay, I don't want any fire gems or poison gems in it. So here we're going to see another of the player skills, Stealth. Now, stealth is very handy in a city environment because it lets you do a bunch of different crimes like pickpocketing and stealing and generally getting in places where you don't belong. In a combat environment like this, in a dungeon, it'll let us sneak up on this guard and take him out unnoticed. So as I mentioned, there are a variety of crimes. One of those is pickpocketing. And although, frankly, we're going to kill this guy anyway, first we're going to take his stuff.
Pickpocket.
Another shard, not bad, and a lockpick. And now he's good. Oh, he found you. Uh-oh.
95% chance of success, so I get the 5%.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
All right, next time we max out your stealth skill. Now if you see that purple glow in the corner there, that actually means that there is a warded chest nearby, which is something you'll tend to find around a lot of spellcasters like in this cave. A ward is sort of a magical booby trap that casters will put on their belongings. Now fortunately, with the dispelling skill, we have a pretty good shot of getting through that ward without it blowing up in our face or cursing us. As you invest more in the skill, it makes this minigame easier. And don't worry, if you hate minigames, you don't have to do it. There's also a percentage chance-based model you can use, which also scales based on your skill. Not bad, actually.
Good about myself.
First time around. That was good. I don't really want fine silk shoes. Do you want fine silk shoes?
I'll take them.
Okay.
I take everything.
Just take it, sell it all.
Mm-hmm. Like, look, I'm going to loot this guy. If we were doing a demo, I would be looting every possible thing in this room.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing with demoing this game. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Can you get that, and can you dodge before it blows you up?
Yes, we have a trap that's going off here in the corner just as I'm looting this guy, this body next to it, and I'm going to try and dodge out of the way as soon as I take this stuff.
It's going to be mid-animation. Oh, yep, there it is.
Oh.
So, having been blown up by a trap here, you may have noticed over the course of some of the fights thus far that occasionally a thin purplish blue line will zip from an enemy to the player character. Those are threads of fate. Because of your unique free agent relationship to fate and destiny, you're able to earn small amounts of fate energy every time you defeat an enemy or perform well in combat. Once you have enough fate energy, you can harness it to go into a special mode called Reckoning. In Reckoning mode, time slows down, you speed up, you do ridiculous amounts of damage, you become highly durable. You're an all-purpose badass for as long as you have fate energy left to burn. And when you defeat enemies in that mode, they don't just die. They begin to unravel, their fate's coming apart. And you can do this to multiple different enemies as long as you have Reckoning mode still going. Before Reckoning mode's over, you want to run up to one of these guys and fate shift him, which is a special sort of fatality move that will destroy not only that enemy, but every enemy you've set to unraveling in the area and give you a huge XP bonus for the whole lot of them. Now, the fight up ahead is just one big enemy and not several small enemies, but nonetheless, we'll get to show you a little bit of Reckoning mode and a fate shift kill.
By Telogris, by the winds of the black depths, come forth! Come forth!
Nice. So, having fate shifted and defeated the Niskaru here and a variety of cultists within the cave, we now take the artifact in the back, the Heart of Sibin. Now, normally in the midst of this quest, as again part of the Worstworn faction line, we'd have absolutely no idea what this thing is, and we'd want to bring it back to Shield Ring Keep, the nearest Worstworn base, where we'd find out a little bit more about what it is and what it means that we found it here, and that story would kind of continue. But we're about out of time for this demo, so rather than show you more of the Worstworn, we're going to give you a little glimpse of the main quest. Specifically, part of the main quest featuring the Siege of Melson Shear, a big turning point where the player's unique ability to change the fate of the world around him starts to come into play on a much grander scale than you've seen up to that point. Now, in this demo, you've seen some Niskaru. Joe fought the smaller blood hunters early on, and then he fought the big Niskaru tyrant just now. But in this piece of the main quest, you're going to see a much larger, much nastier Niskaru, a creature called Balor. We hope you've enjoyed this quick look at Reckoning. Once again, coming for the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC in 2012.
You said it all. You're gonna love the game.